Welcome to my first ever combined series ranking video. And this is a show that looks at two series of films that have been standalone until the point that something combines them in their universe together, via verses or just a cameo by another film series. This video is for the Lake Placid and Anaconda series. So let's get started. I'm going to read them from my least favorite to my most favorite, so here we go. Number 9 is from the Anaconda series. It is Anaconda's Trail of Blood. Pretty boring movie. Anaconda 3 should have been just Anaconda 3 and 4 combined. But I guess some things could have made it into a fourth movie, and guess what? They took those some things and made it into an hour-and-a-half movie. It's a lot of filler, but it's a satisfying conclusion to the story of the Blood Orchid, which started in part 2. Now, this is a filler movie, really, and the characters aren't as memorable as the ones from part 3. The dialogue and acting is about the same. There's not as much gore as there was in part 3, so there's problems. But I can look past those problems if the film was at least entertaining, and it was in some scenes, but most of them weren't. I give this film a 2 out of 5. Number 8 is from the Lake Placid series. That is Lake Placid 2. This film is bad in every sense of the word, but I dug it.
The body count continues.
It still has terrible acting, dialogue, and effects. Although some effects in the films, especially when it's nighttime and it's raining out, didn't look too bad. I watched this film when it first came out and I've been watching it ever since. It's a fun movie for what it is. It's very bad. That's what it is. But if you can look past that, it has great cinematography, great lighting, great camera work, great music, by the way. Nudity, which doesn't make a film good, but this film has some things going for it and I give it props. So I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Number 7 is from the Anaconda series. That is Anaconda 3 Offspring. Now, I have to give a shout out to somebody, Joey Hollywood. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below, but he made me have a different outlook on this film. I used to hate it. I was like, this is so stupid and boring. But I realized that there's a lot of cheese to be found in this film, and David Hasselhoff is actually a good part of it. He is the offspring, if you will. It's a fun film for what it is. It's pretty boring during like 2 or 3 scenes, but the rest of it is fun action, tons of gore. The CGI snake looks bad, but the design of it looks creepy. So yeah, I really have to say this film is better than Anaconda's Trail of Blood, but it's not the best of the series, but it's a decent watch if you don't mind spending an hour and a half watching a film that was shot in Bulgaria. Actually, most of these films were shot in Bulgaria. So I give it a 3 out of 5. Now, this was a hard one to put against Anaconda 3. I was like, they're about the same amount of good, except for one's like 5 minutes longer, and some of it's a little bit boring, but so is Anaconda 3. Number 6 is Lake Placid 3. It has the worst CGI out of the bunch, in my opinion. And there's barely any gore in this film, like unrated, yeah, boobs, not gore. But I dug this film. It's this film that started showing Yancey Butler as Reba and the Lake Placid series.
A new dimension in terror.
I dug the characters. I liked Colin Ferguson. I liked Michael Ironside. I liked Yancey Butler. I even enjoyed the kid. He actually was a decent acting kid for a low budget film. So I give it a 3 out of 5. Number 5 is Lake Placid.
The final chapter.
This is not the final chapter.
But this is the one you've been screaming for.
But it is still an awesome movie about crocodiles that tear the shit up in glorious, gory fashion. There's a lot more gore, there's a lot more nudity, a lot more sex in this film than Lake Placid 2. But maybe Lake Placid 3 has a little bit more nudity. I really enjoyed this film. I don't get what the scene is from, though. I think it's when she's holding her daughter or something. I don't. Anyways, it's a fun film. Robert Englund steals the show in this film. Yancey Butler is awesome as usual for the Lake Placid series. The cinematography is just as good as part 2's, if not just a little bit better. So I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Number 4 is Lake Placid versus Anaconda. Now, Lake Placid versus Anaconda appeared on the 7 channel April 25th, and it is the best Lake Placid and Anaconda sci-fi sequel so far. It has great CGI for a low-budget film. It has fun and awesome characters. No character was forgettable in this film unless they died, like being shown like 2 scenes. This film is just awesome. It really shows that Savage Channel is actually trying with their movies now. I think Sharknado 2 really upped the ante in budget-wise, so they decided, let's make all our films look nice now. Let's actually try to put more effort into them and make more money. I give Lake Placid versus Anaconda easily a 4 out of 5. Tons of gore, great effects. Number 3 is Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. I grew up watching this film a bunch. The characters, while bland, are still memorable. They don't have like this thing about them where they are in the scene for a couple minutes and then just die, because they're in the film for at least 30-40 minutes and then start dying. It's PG-13. It doesn't have much gore. Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. It's an awesome film. The snakes look cool. And it's actually the last Lake Placid or Anaconda film to ever go to theaters. I give it a 4 out of 5. Number 2 is Anaconda. If you can't breathe, you can't scream. And if you can't squeeze, you can't thought. Yeah, I said that in my review already. Anyways, this is a classic. It really is. And it's Anaconda. How could you not like it? It's gory, has decent effects. The animatronic snake looks a million times better than the CGI one, and it's actually intimidating. I can't really say anything more else to praise it, but I give it a 4.5 out of 5. And number 1 is Lake Placid.
1.
I grew up watching this film even more than Anaconda. Such a classic movie.
You may only see it once, but that will be enough.
Can't go wrong with it. The acting is fun. The characters are fun, even though some of them are a bit annoying. It all comes with the film's territory. It's short, doesn't overstay its welcome, running at only 82 minutes. There's some decent gore. The effects are awesome. Everything about this film just rocks. My dad gave this film a 5 out of 5, and he also gave Lake Placid vs. Anaconda a 4 out of 5. I gave the same rating for that film. I'm giving the same rating for this film, too. I'm giving Lake Placid a 5 out of 5. I dug the shit out of this movie ever since I first saw it. So yeah, that's it. I am Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below to leave comments and subscribe.